plan your animation. Hey guys, this is Alessandro, welcome back. And if you follow my channel, when it comes to animation, I always have a very strong structure, right? Starting from video reference, then blocking plus, and go on, right, until the final polish. But I feel like there is something that I do, and I mentioned a few times in my channel, but I'm not stressing enough. And I think today I really want to focus about this, and it's basically a planning your shot, because I do feel like a lot of people, a lot of animators or students, even professional, when they approach their shot, they many times they lack planning, right? And not because any specific reason, but maybe they have very little deadline or something, so they think that planning will take away too much time, or maybe they're just a bit lazy, or maybe they think they have a very clear idea, and they just go very quickly straight into animation, or maybe they will just do a very quick reference and then will end up doing animation. And many times what is happening is that they spend 2 3 a week not just to do their animation, and then they arrive halfway through and they realize, damn, this thing doesn't work. It's not very interesting, it's not appealing, it's kind of boring. I could have pushed it a lot more, I could have done more entertaining things. Or maybe they realize, even worse, there is some constraint with the scene, with the environment, whatever. And this has happened because lack of planning, right? And so the reason why I think it's so important, first of all, is because we're gonna save you a lot of time later on in production, right? Even though if you have to spend a full day in planning, 2 days, but at least it can put you ahead of it, right? Because when you do planning, and planning for me could be sketches, storyboard, like moving a quick box, doing a quick layout in 3D, whatever you feel more comfortable, but it can give you a result a lot quicker, and that's the benefit, right? At least for me, when I do storyboard, when I do sketches, like I put drawings one next to each other, I spend maybe half a day, and I feel like it look like when I arrive at the end, it looks good, right? But then when I take a distance and I look at the whole picture, I feel like, damn, this is not actually entertaining as I thought it was. This character at the end, what is it doing? It's doing a jump, a flip, an attack. It doesn't look very interesting. I feel I could have done better. At the end of the day, when I finish my planning, I always ask myself this question: can I do it better? Can I make it more entertaining? Can I make it more fun? And 90% of the time, guys, the answer is yes. That's when I start all over. All right, guys, and this is only came when I do planning, actually, right? I can sit for a moment and look at those drawings. But the good things is that I can go back and change it very quickly, because when I do sketches, when I do storyboard, it doesn't take very long, right? And nobody's asking you to do very detailed storyboard or stuff like that. That's not the point. As long as you can understand the intention, and or maybe if you're at work, you can demonstrate clearly to your supervisor, to your lead, it's good enough. Okay, you don't have to do pretty drawings or something like that. And definitely this is one of the first reason. The second one is because many times when even though you have a good idea and everything, and you start to jump very quickly into reference, right, without doing much research and much planning as a sketch, thumbnail, or stuff like that, they end up your reference and your posing end up being very boring, very flat, not very interesting, because you're human. We do realistic movement, stuff like that, right? So when we do those things, when we do those reference, we don't really try to push things, right? And so your posing might look kind of boring. It's kind of different instead when you have a piece of paper in front of you and you want to start to do your sketches, and like, okay, first pose, what am I drawing here? What am I trying to communicate? Okay, I'm trying to communicate that this character is tired or bored, and sitting next to a bench or something, or is maybe playing with his phone or whatever. And then you start to think about it. Okay, how I'm gonna pose it, how I'm gonna stage it, right? Because you're thinking in 2D already. You're thinking about, you do the frame of the screen and everything, and you think about how to stage it already. Something that a lot of people don't think when they do video reference. And so already there, you start to think about the line of action, how to make the pose and everything. And this helps a lot because you already start to thinking about composition. You already start to think about posing, how to make it appealing, dynamic, if it express your idea. With a quick sketch, you can tell very quickly, it doesn't look like that this character is bored, is tired, or is excited. And then maybe, if you wants to do all the sketches and so on, when you go from there to the reference, you actually already have a guideline, for yourself to help to do the video reference. And the second reason is also because if you do those sketches of all those poses, ideally you want to do poses that eventually you want to do in 3D, right? You don't want to do a planning, then eventually, when you start to work with the 3D software, it ends up be completely different because at the end it's kind of useless. I do understand that this can happen at the beginning, especially if you're not very comfortable with storyboard and layout and stuff like that. And so you might not be very comfortable in drawing, and you do something very quickly just because you feel like you have to do it very quickly, almost like you're forcing yourself. And at the beginning it's not gonna be very helpful because at the end you're gonna go in Maya with a character that you're gonna change everything. But I guess that's normal at the beginning. That's only means that you have to do a little bit more practice and experience. But eventually, when you get that experience, you're gonna look at the character that you're about to use. The character will inspire you visually, some pose, some attitude, and stuff like that. And when you do your sketches and everything, you'll try to capture that essence, right? So when you finish your storyboard and everything, you end up doing pose in 3D that will look a lot more similar. And the good result, the good things about this is that, maybe you spend two full days to do a planning, right? Sketches and everything. But if you've done a good job, you're gonna be a lot faster when you do it in Maya in 3D, because now you have a proper guideline. And if you already those key poses in your planning, pretty much the key poses are gonna be the same when you do in your Maya, even though if you have your reference, and so it's gonna be a lot quicker. Obviously, there are exceptions. It's never gonna happen that you do a storyboard and 100% it works in 3D, right? Almost never happen, right? So there is always new things that when you do a reference based on the storyboard, or if you're doing a 3D pose from the storyboard, at some point you have new idea or something, you put extra input, and that's completely okay, I would say. But I still believe that making a proper planning will put you ahead, first of all, in terms of timing, and then will give you a lot more quality, right? And there is also another things I want you guys to think about it, and I want you to challenge you about it, is that if you don't do this planning, and let's assume you want to use video reference, right? Your reference, find it on internet. At the end of the day, what you will do is like, you maybe have an idea, right? And then, maybe the idea sometimes could be a bit too crazy, and maybe if you're doing the reference yourself, you realize that you cannot do certain action because maybe you want a character jumping 3 meters or something, or you don't know how to do it, and maybe you're still not very good in animation, so you might end up like cutting your idea because you don't have a good reference to study, right? And it could be the same even if you're looking for reference from YouTube or stuff like that, and it's like, hey, I have this cool idea about this character doing these crazy things, but you're still learning animation using reference, and you cannot find anything appropriate that you can use, and so you end up changing your idea. Maybe your idea was really good, but you end up losing it because you feel like, okay, I can't find anything, maybe I need to find something simpler. And even though if this was very good maybe at the beginning, again, when you guys are learning animation, because you're learning the basic, so you don't want to do something too complicated or too advanced for you. Once you get better and better, you don't want to limit your creativity, your animation skill based on reference. So you don't want to plan your idea based on reference. You want to have a full white paper, right? Think about as much creatively as you can, think whatever you can, and then you say, okay, I have this creative idea, it's really fun and good, people like it, how I'm gonna do it? Yes, I have some skills about animation, but maybe I need some support with some video reference. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to find the perfect video reference, but you still need to be able to find something that kind of support your idea, right? Because at the end of the day, when you have an idea when it comes to animation, you're never gonna find the perfect reference that perfectly match your idea, right? That's kind of absurd. I mean, if sometimes you're lucky, you can get lucky, other times you're not, and you have to just be creative when you look for reference or stuff like that. And that's also very important, because at the end you want the technology, the tool like the reference or YouTube, whatever, to serve your artistic need and not the other way around. Okay, not that you find a reference and just you copy animation based on the reference, because at the end you're not an artist anymore, you're just copying something, right? And what happens when you're at work and they give you an assignment, you don't find a reference and you don't know how to copy anymore, what you're gonna do at that point, right? And again, it's good when you're learning animation at the beginning. This methodology I also teach it as well to follow reference, because you're just learning. Okay, so you're learning the basic. You wanna go little by little, but at the end of the day, you have to get away from that and start to think more about the end, the performance, right? And so I would say this is the first things. And second, and the last things I want to mention to you guys, that I know a lot of people out there, they say, oh, but I'm not very good in drawings, in sketching, I'm very uncomfortable, drawing on digitally or stuff like that. So I think there are a few suggestions I can give you about this. I was one of you guys, in the sense that I was comfortable drawing maybe on a piece of paper, but when I take the tablet, the pen tablet, to do it on Maya digitally, I basically had a mental block, right? I couldn't do anything, I couldn't even do a line. So at the end, when you do sketch and everything, do it whatever you want, as long as it's working. Sometimes I was doing it on paper, and then I wanted to see in Maya very quickly. So what I do a sketch on a paper, take a picture, upload it on Maya as a texture, and then maybe it could be a solution. Another way of doing it is, if you can do it directly in Maya, like almost like a little storyboard with all the key poses, right? And another problem that I was facing was the fact that, I struggle with proportion, right? And so if I have a 3D scene and I want to move the character in perspective, things are that I start with a character like this at the beginning of the shot, and even if he's moving all around and then I go back to the same position, he's half of the size, right? Because I screw up the proportion, basically. And so what is really important, for example, what it was helping me, is that I open a 3D scene in Maya, I put the 3D character in T-pose, and while I do the storyboard, I put that one next to it, so at least I can compare the proportion, right? And then if it's going in perspective, I take the 3D model, put it back into the scene. I know now it's gonna be shorter like this. Maybe I tilt it in the direction that I want, just to help me with the perspective and line of action. And then I do the sketch by myself, right? This is another way of doing it. Or sometimes, again, I do screenshot of the camera angle, the staging of the background that I want. I bring the screenshot with the background in Photoshop, and I drew the sketch over there, right on top of it. This is another one. A lot of people, what they like to do is to do a very quick and dirty layout using camera and a simple box. Rather than a full character, they take a box with the size of the character and they move it, they make the jump, the arc, the timing of the run and stuff like that. And they do it very quickly, and they test it with a 3D camera, so they can already see the 3D camera very movement in relationship with the character, right? And another step that you can do, once you've done that one in 3D very quickly, you can then do some draw over on the main key poses, main appealing pose that you want, that you're trying to tell a story, right? So I would say those are all advice that they can help you to make your planning a lot more easy and efficient, right? Again, it takes time, especially if you're very used to just jump to your 3D animation very quickly. It takes a while, right? I know I was one of them. I did 2D animation, but then I focused only on 3D for 3-4 years. I completely forgot how to draw, and go back and do storyboard was a bit traumatic. But I do understand this as a great value. First of all, for yourself, when you're planning something, even if you want to do your own demo reel, but even at work, when they give you an assignment or something, it's a lot easier doing like a quick sketch very quickly, especially if it's something you cannot really do with a video reference. All right, guys. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and see you next time. Ciao, guys.